Hi guys, this is Lone Vic again, and today we are going to go through how to play of Kingdom Rush Written in Time. I'll show you how to set up the game for first scenario. I will also show you what are the basic rules and phases of the game. We will do an example of a turn, more or less. I'll show you all of the possibilities, and we will go through the solo mode changes as well, because this game can be played from 1 to 4 players, and the solo mode is a bit different than the main rules. Okay, so let's dive in. Let's start with the setup. So first, before you set up the game, you have to spread out some of the cards and some of the tokens that you will need for the game. And those are the tower cards. As you see here, there is a whole stack of those. And you should lay them out on the table like this, with 4 militia towers, level 1, 4 3 footman towers, and 2, knights towers. There you go. Then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 bombards, 1, 2, 3 artillery, 2 howitzers, and the mages for level 1, adepts with level 2, there are 3 of those, wizards with level 3, and then 4 archers, 3 marksmen, and 2 sharpshooters. Are 3 marksmen here? Yes. Okay, so you should have those things somewhere nearby, because you'll be taking the towers from those piles, and you'll be upgrading them. I will put them aside for this show, so you won't see them on the table all the time, but it's handy to have them here. Once you have the towers set up on the table, you will need also the damage tokens. And for the damage tokens, I've got them stored in this very cool tray that I've got in the all-in pledge. If you don't have it, then it's best to just take the damage tokens from the appropriate towers and place them somewhere below the towers as you set up. I've got the tokens sorted here, as you can see, by type. So those are for the mages, those are for the archers. Here we've got the tokens for the bombards, I've got the soldiers for the soldier towers, I've got the health tokens here as well, the crystals, and some spells that you can purchase along the way during the game. So I will also put this tray aside, but you should have it somewhere nearby as well on the table. Okay, so once we are done with this, once we have the tower cards and the tokens set up, we can start preparing the scenario. Now, I'll show you the scenario booklet for a moment, because this is it. This is the scenario booklet for the game. And when you open it, you have the general setup. So this is like the layout of the towers and the tokens, as I've shown you. And on the next page, you have the first scenario, and this is the map for the scenario. And here are the rules for the layout of the scenario. So what are the limitations for the heroes, what are the limitations for the spells that you can use, the levels of towers, the hordes, and everything else. So we'll be going through this one by one. So first, you should take a look at this map setup and find the appropriate numbers of tiles. This is tile A2, A11, G3, and A9. You should also have the 2 numbered spawn tokens, and that's basically it. So you can set up the map quite easily right now, which is what I'm gonna do. So I'm taking the tile which is numbered A2, I'm placing it here. I'm placing A11 above, here you go, and then we've got A9 right next to it, like so, and G3 goes here. There you go. And both spawn tokens, according to the booklet, go here. You should also place the exit tile where it's shown. So in this case here. And this is the whole map for the first scenario. Now, on the side here, you have the layout of the tower locations, or the building sites for different numbers of players. If you're playing with 1 player, you have to take those transparent foiled cards in 3 colors, yellow, green, and purple, and set them out like so. If you are playing with 2 players, which what I'll be doing right now, you have only the purple and the green cards, and you set them up like so. For 3 players and 4 players, it's similar. On the side, you also have the number of crystals that you should get, the spells, and the number of abilities. So right now I will take the foil cards for a 2-player game. I'll put the booklet aside and I'll place them as shown in the booklet. So a purple one goes here and also here below it, and then at the bottom here, and one purple one goes here and one goes here on this G3. Now the green ones go here and here, one goes here and also here and here. Now if you have the 3D Towers add-on from the Kickstarter, you can replace those foil cards with those very cool 3D Towers and leave them standing on the board instead of those foil cards, but we will leave it as the standard edition shows. Okay, so after you have the map and you have the building tiles laid out, now you should look at the rest of the information. So heroes do not have abilities in this scenario, so no ability tiles will be needed, and you can't use Lilith as a hero. You shouldn't use spells in this scenario as well, and level 4 towers are not used in this scenario. Alright. Cool. So we can set up the heroes for this game. I have chosen 2 heroes for this game. We've got first box with, there you go, Malik Hammer Fury. And I'll put his card over here. And we've got his card, the hero card, which we put here on the hero board. We have his abilities, but the first scenario doesn't allow us to use any abilities. We have the damage tokens, which we should take out and place somewhere next to his card. And you also should assign a color for each player. So we'll say that Hammer Fury is the green player, so we take the green token, put it next to Hammer Fury, and there we go. We have also the helper card, which should be used to help the players follow the round. Okay, so Hammer Fury is out, and the second hero, and you also have the meanie, of course, I forgot about the meanie. And you also have the second hero, so the helper card goes here, we'll put him on the left side. So the second hero for our game is Magnus Spellbane. There you go. So abilities left in the box. We've got the hero card, we've got his spell tokens, okay, and the meanie, and we're all done. And the box goes to the side, and Magnus will be the purple player, so he gets the purple marker and he'll be using the purple building areas. Apart from that, the heroes have to have their heart token, which symbolizes their health, placed on the highest numbered field, let's say. So here we've got Magnus at 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4 is Malik Hammer Fury. Whenever this marker goes down, the hero dies and he's off the board. He loses 1 round. He has to wait to get back on the board. So now the last thing that we have to do is prepare the hordes and the portal cards. Now for this you also go to the scenario book and you take a look at this hordes and portals section. You can read this, it's pretty well explained, everything is very well explained here. So you have wave 0 and wave 1 described with how many of which cards we should choose. So we've got wave 0 with 3 green cards. So what we should do to create the pawn stacks is to take first the green cards, because the wave 0 has 3 times green, and we look at those spawn cards. We have 0 here, so this is wave 0. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those cards. So out of those 5, we shuffle them, we take out 1, 2, 3, and we set them aside. The rest can go back. Now in wave 1, we don't have any greens, but we have yellows and reds. So we got 4 red and 4 yellow. So I will take the red enemy cards right now, and I will scroll past zeros, and I have 1, 2, 3, 4 red ones with number 1 here in the lower left corner. Only 4, so I don't need to shuffle them, and also 4 yellow ones. So I have the yellow ones, and I've got to scroll past the zeros, and I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 ones here as well. I add them to my stack. All the rest of the enemy cards can be put aside or put back in the box. We won't be using them in this game. And also, the scenario book tells us which portals we should use. And portals are those purple cards. I'll show you in a moment. They look like this. Here you go. And this is the scenario number that we have. So we've got 1, 2, only 2 portals in scenario 1, there you go, and they are numbered here 1 and 2, so we need both of those cards. So we've got all of those things prepared right now. We've got 2 portal cards for scenario 1, portal 1 and portal 2, we've got 4 yellow cards with wave 1, we've got 4 red cards with wave 1, and we've got 3 green cards with wave 0. And now we should look at the section in the scenario book called spawn stacks, and it tells us how we should order those cards, randomly of course among those types, in a stack from top to bottom. So this tells us that we should have 1, 2, 3 yellow ones on top, then we should have portal number 1, then we should have 1 red, 1 wave 1 card, 1 yellow card, 1 red card, portal number 2, and 2 red cards. And this is what I will do right now. So from the bottom I will start dealing out those cards, and I will place them here next to the spawn stack. So there is 1 red on the bottom, another red, portal number 2, there you go, and then we've got another red card, 1 yellow card, 1 red card again, portal number 1, and we've got 1, 2, 3 yellow cards on the top. And this is our spawn stack, and we're left with those 3 goblins, which we place, as you can see, on the board already in the horde trays. So let's do that now. So those horde trays are handy to have, and we've got 1 which goes here according to the scenario book, the second one which goes here, and the third one which goes here. Now, placing any of those horde cards, you have to watch out so that this purple-green line is always parallel to the exit. So, like here. Okay, and the last things to do is to deal out the towers for the players. Now, we take a look at the bottom of the hero cards here, and for 2 players, you've got starting towers, and this is solo, 2 players, 3 players, and 4 players. So, if we are playing with 2 players, then Magnus should get, and all those towers are level 1s, right? Remember about that. So Magnus should get 1 archer, he should get 1 bombard, and he should get 1 mage. So here we go, those 3 towers. And Malik, for the start of the game, also 1 archer, 1 bombard, and 1 militia. So this is what we're gonna do. 1 bombard and 1 archer 2. Those are, once more, all level 1 towers. Okay, cool. And the last thing to do is to choose a difficulty level. Now, so we have the levels of difficulty here on page 3 of the scenario book. We've got level 1, 2 and 3 with different health, and I'll choose level 1. Let's make it an easy game, and the setup bonus here is +2 crystals and a spell, but we can't use spells in the first scenario. So I've got 12 health tokens, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 12, there you go, we put them here. And also we've got the number of crystals. For 2 players it should be 3 crystals for the start of the game, but the bonus is +2 for level 1, so we will take 5 of those. Okay, and I'll put them here on the top. And the scenario book also says that the game is limited to 12 crystals. If you should have all the 12 crystals in your supply, you cannot gain any more. So this is basically the maximum limit here. And this is the whole setup. So we have the whole map with the spawn points, with the 0-wave horde trays, the exit tile, the building sides, the 2 heroes on the sides, their starting towers, helper cards, crystals, health of the city, the spawn stack. Everything is ready. Now we can go to how to play this great game of Kingdom Rush Rift in Time. So a single round of this game consists of 6 phases. Phase 1 is called the Spawn New Hordes phase, which we skip in the first turn. The second phase is play tower and hero cards, then destroy horde trays. Number 4 is advance horde trays. Number 5, pick up towers and hero cards. And number 6 is spending the crystals. So we'll skip the Spawn New Hordes for now, and we will go to play tower and hero cards as we would in the beginning of the game. So, as you can see, on those horde cards, we've got enemies and empty areas. Now, you have to destroy those horde cards. The aim of the game is to destroy the horde cards before they can exit through this exit space from the map. So this one is already very close. If it moves, it gets out and we take damage. By covering all of those creature fields, areas, with damage tokens, either from your heroes or from the towers. You can cover them like so. And if you cover all of those areas with enemies, this is taken off the map. If, however, this tile moves off the map through the exit, your town takes as much damage as many monsters are uncovered. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage from those 12 health would be taken. And if you at any point lose all the health, you lose the game. So that's basically the essence of it. So what possibilities do the heroes have to destroy those horde trays? First, the players can play those tower cards in any order they want onto their building sites. Now remember, Malik is green, so he can use only the green building sites, and Magnus is purple, so he can use only the purple ones. And you have those starting towers in your hand, so what can you do with those? You have to take a look at which directions do the towers shoot at, those are those red arrows, and what shape of a damage tile they give. And in any order you want, you can place those towers onto those building areas that you own, and you can turn those towers in any direction you want and assign damage to tiles. So just to give you an example, I will first take Malik and I will put this archer tower here. So as you can see, those 3 arrows tell me that I can shoot here, here, and here, and I have one tile shaped like this at my disposal. So I can take this tile, and what I have to do is I can put it on any of those trays, but I cannot rotate it in any way. It has to be used in this direction that is shown here. So luckily this fits very well to cover these 2 monsters, right? Now if you wanted to rotate this tile, you would have to play this card, for example, like this. Then you would be able to play this tile in this direction, but you would only be able to shoot at this space. We don't want that. So we will leave it like this. Now I want to destroy this first horde tray before anything else, because if it comes down, I will lose, my kingdom will lose health. So what else can I do? I would be able to also place a bombard here on this green space, and this bombard shoots here, here, and here. And you can see that this arrow shoots 1 tile, so I can cover this 1 monster here like so. And the second one shoots like diagonally, so I can add it, let's say here. And let's leave it at that for now. Now let's take Magnus's towers, and Magnus can do his work here. What can we destroy using Magnus's tiles? Now Magnus has a mage, and mages shoot only straight, so I will put him here. There you go. And the mage, as you can see, has this shape, so he will be able to cover those tiles like this. I'm closer to destroying this horde completely. I just need to cover those 3 squares more. And can anything help me with this? Yes. So I will put these archers here as well. And these archers will shoot this here. So I've got only 1 more space to cover. This is pretty good. This is very, very good. And the last tower I will keep to show you something else, because the heroes can do 3 things basically during this second phase, playing towers and hero cards. They can play towers like I've shown you right now to put those damage tokens on the horde trays, but they also can trade those towers between them to level them up. Now this is the only option to level up a tower. So Malik's player who is controlling Malik would have to give this militia tower to the player who controls Magnus, and he would put away this militia level 1 card straight back to the deck and take the level 2 footman tile, and he's putting it here into this incoming tower slot for Magnus, and those incoming towers will be collected in the next round and will be able to be used. And then Magnus can give this bombard to Malik, so he puts the bombard back into the deck and upgrades it to artillery. And those cards are a lot stronger, as you can see. Right, artillery can shoot, as you can see, 3 different bullets and three different damage tiles in different directions, and the footman can send 2 knights onto those horde trays. What else could have happened here with the towers? Now, if I, for example, had a footman tower, because archers and mages and bombards all work more or less the same. If I had a footman tower and I would put it here, it would say, for example, that I have 2 soldiers to send onto this horde tile. So I would just take 2 footman figures and I would cover those 2 slots, right? But I'm not doing this because, well, this is an upgraded one, so it will be for the next round. And the last thing that the players can do is that they can send their heroes onto the board. So you can use the hero card, take it off of your player board, or for example, put it on your player board to show that the hero is activated. We always, when we play, we take it off to show that the hero is activated. And you have, for example, Magnus has 3 movement and he has his basic attack ability. So first, you need to move your hero from your hero board onto the map, and they always enter here on this first card, on this first spot next to the exit. So this first movement point of Magnus, who has 3 movement, will have to be like this. So it's 1, and I will stop here. I will stop on this tile, and Magnus can stand here, as you can see, covering this last spot that I need. And if I don't want to move anymore, I can also use the attack ability of my hero. Now, if I use the attack ability and I have any movement left, I can't move anymore because I can't interrupt the movement with an ability. And you may perform this in any order. You can first use an ability, so for example the basic attack, and then move, or first move and then use a basic attack. And the basic attack for Malik is in this direction or in these directions, as you can see, so it's a ranged attack. And if Magnus is on a building site, put additional damage on the target horde. So I would be able to put 2 damage if I was on a building site, but the heroes can't stand on a building site which is already occupied by a tower. I would only be able to stand on an empty one. But I don't want that. I want to take this damage tile and I want to put it on this horde tray. And as you can see on this on the hero tray, we've got those 4 arrows, the circle with 4 arrows next to this damage tile on Magnus. That means that this tile can be rotated in any way possible, unlike those on the towers, which have to be placed in the same orientation as they are represented. So I will rotate it like this. I will put it here on this next tile, and this is Magnus's activation. And I will also take Malik, and Malik will enter here. He's got only 2 movements, so he will go here and he will move here with his second movement. There we go. And he has an ability: for each blank square covered, put 1 damage on an adjacent horde. And he has also this attack as a basic one. So I use this basic attack here to cover this second tray, and if Malik was standing on any empty squares, I would be able to put those singular tiles on an adjacent horde. But I don't want to do that. We don't have any adjacent hordes. One more thing that didn't appear in this scenario but can be added as a rule is that the heroes will be able to obtain hero abilities throughout the game. Now, this will be informed by the scenario book, which abilities or what level abilities your heroes can have during the scenario. Mine, for instance, will be Magnus Spellbane, and he has those 4 abilities, and the scenario can tell you, for example, that you can choose one of the abilities with this level 1 symbol or one of the abilities with this level 2 symbol, for example, you place this ability like this, and during the game, when you use this ability, instead of the basic attack, you flip it over and it's used up. So those abilities can have 3 different types. There are some instant abilities that deal damage to enemies. We have some ongoing abilities that are like passives, and some protection abilities. And now the question is, what happens after you flip this tile and you want to recover this ability? Right? As I said, when you are playing your hero card, you can move your hero and perform one action, and this action can be a basic attack, a special attack, or something called recover. Now when you recover, you don't do any damage, but you return your health to maximum and you flip all the tiles back. There you go. And what happens when a hero dies? That's pretty simple. When a hero dies, loses all its health, you take his miniature, you put it on your board like this, and during your next turn you have to stand your mini of your hero up on your card, and that's it. He has to pause for 1 round and he will be able to come back during the next round onto the map and perform an activation, so move and choose an action. But so every time a hero dies, they are reset to maximum. All the abilities are also flipped like a recovery, and they can come back after pausing 1 round. So this is phase 2. Playing the towers, exchanging the towers to level them up, and playing your heroes. This is what you can do, what every player can do, and you should agree on all those movements. It's more like a puzzle or a logical puzzle game than anything else, in my opinion. Now we can go to phase 3, destroying the horde trays. Now, once you covered all of those symbols, all of the enemies on a horde tray, the horde tray can be destroyed in phase 3, so those 2 tiles will be destroyed. Now, what this means is that this tray will be taken off of the map, but every hero that is standing on a destroyed tray loses 1 health. So Magnus here will lose 1 health, and he will be left on this path space, and here Malik will also lose 1 health and he will stay here on this path space, and these 2 trays are out. I can take off all of the damage tokens from them, and I can flip those to see how many crystals I'm getting to my supply. 1, 2 crystals for those 2 horde tiles. So I've cleared out a pretty good spot here. Now after this is done, we can go to phase 4, advancing the horde trays. Now the horde trays move basically like this. So this horde moves 1 space here. Right? And this is it. If a horde would move into a space where a hero is, this hero is pushed out, so he can be pushed into any empty space not containing a tower, whether it's a building space or an empty path space, but that's not the case right now. And sometimes it might be that a horde is here, but for example the horde is here and another horde would be here, and this one would have to move and can't because it's blocked by this one, so it would jump over, moving 1 space further. So in this way a horde can even make it to the exit with only 1 movement. Now how can you block a movement of a horde tray? You can block it if you have soldiers on it. Now every soldier has only 1 health, so if there are soldiers on a horde tray and it is going to move, those soldiers are killed because they get 1 damage and the tray stays in the same spot. The same goes for heroes. If there were at any time heroes on a horde tray and it would have to move, the hero takes 1 damage, but the horde stays where it was. So this is a great way to slow those hordes down and prevent them from reaching the exit. Okay, so after the horde trays advance, you have to pick up the towers and hero cards, which come back to the hero trays, right? I haven't taken off the Magnus's one, but they would come back to the hero trays. The towers go back to their owners, so the archer goes back here, the mage goes back here, and the bombard and archer go back here. So now those level 1 towers come back to their owners, but they also have those 2 upgraded towers from the footmen and the artillery. And phase 6 is about spending the crystals. Now, spending the crystals means that you can purchase additional towers from the deck, and you can spend 2 crystals to take a level 1 tower from the general supply and decide which hero will get it. You can spend 3 crystals to take a level 2 tower and also decide which hero will get it, and that's it. You can't purchase level 3 or 4 towers through using crystals, and you can use all the crystals that you have collected throughout the round. I won't be doing that right now because we have a sufficient amount of towers here. And now in round 2, we would use the first phase to spawn new hordes. Right now, after the first round is completed and spending crystals, phase 6 is complete, we start round 2, and we would start it with this first phase that we skipped initially, which is spawn the new hordes. And we've got 2 spawn points, 1 and 2, and they're both here, so we will be spawning 2 tiles on this spot. And if those spawn points were at different places, there would be different places where those tiles would appear. So I'm taking 1 card, there you go, and I'm putting it here. And now the second place spawns, and I'm taking a second card, and I can't put it here because there is a tile already here. I can't put it here. I have to put it here, and I have to push Malik away, so I'll push him here. No, I'll push him here together with Magnus. So as you can see now, we've got, remember that colored lines have to be parallel to the exit at every single time. And now let's talk, so this is basically the whole sequence. And now let's talk about some additional abilities that appear on especially the horde cards. Now, as you can see, we have here those arrows next to those enemies, and this means that they have speed. Now, if they have speed, when they would move 2 spaces. So this one, for example, would move 1 space here because, well, it would have to jump over those 2 tiles, and the second movement would get her through the exit. And this one, for example, would move 1 and 2, right? If a hero was present on any of those tiles, then the hero would prevent movement by taking 2 damage because he has to prevent 2 movements, right? If the hero would die after the first damage, then the tile would move. Same goes for soldiers. Soldiers, if they were present, 1 movement would be prevented, they would die, the second movement would go through. If at any time you cover up all of those enemies with the arrows, then the speed bonus is eliminated and the tile moves by 1 area as usual. Now, what other types of enemies can we find on these cards? We can find, for example, enemies that have this dead eye, bullseye kind of icon next to them, which means that after moving this tile, all heroes on or adjacent to this horde take 1 damage. So if there was a hero on this card like this, then it would move. It wouldn't because the hero is there. The hero would take 1 damage, and then after movement, this hero would take 1 damage from the Deadeye, and all the heroes on adjacent spots would also take 1 damage. We can also have healers, which have those little pluses, right, next to them, and if there are any of those icons visible before movement, all damage tokens are removed. All damage tiles are removed from this horde. So no matter what was there, everything is being cleared, right? Remove all damage and then it moves. We can also have an ability called Deadly. Now, Deadly is represented with this icon that has a soldier symbol crossed over, like so, and this means that this character cannot be covered by a soldier or a hero. So you can't put a hero on this or a soldier, but you can put a damage tile from a hero without any problem. And last but not least, the enemies also can have some damage resistance. Now, for example, if an enemy is in a blue frame, then any kind of damage that comes from magic, so for example, this damage that comes from basic attack from Magnus, or for example, you can see in the bottom left corner of every tower what type of damage does the tower provide. This mage tower, which provides magical damage, so these units, these blue units, would be resistant to it. And the other type of damage is physical damage. So for example, what Malik has here, this is the sword icon, and there are also units who have this yellow frame which which prevents physical damage from being assigned to them. There is also a third type of damage which is called true damage. It has this purple sword icon, and this damage can be placed on any enemy regardless of their immunities or resistances, let's call it like that. Now the towers themselves can also have a few additional options, let's call it like that. For example, as you can see, these marksmen or sharpshooters, sorry, these sharpshooters can shoot 3 single tiles in 3 directions, but those arrows, those 2 arrows, mean that if you put this tile like this, you would be able to attack this tile, because of diagonally, and this, because those 2 give you range, right? So this is a level 3 upgrade for the archer. And the militia or the soldier buildings have also one interesting ability. If you place a soldier tile on any spot, it has also this little building marker here, which means that you can cover it up later in the same round with any other tower, and also you can cover any other tower with a soldier tower and also apply damage. So for example, you would be able to have a mage here and later put a soldier here as well. But this has to be done by the owner of this building site. Okay, so how do you win this game anyways? This would be a good question, right? Because you lose the game basically when you lose all of this health of your city. Now, winning the game is usually described in the scenario book, but basically it boils down to destroying portal cards. Now, during the game, as you progress through this spawn stack, you will encounter those portal cards, which also will appear on the board. And now you can see that these guys have the deadly, for example, trait. And those portal cards, we have 2 in this stack, right? So when you destroy the second card, when you destroy both of those cards, you win the game. Simple as that. If any of those portal cards reaches the exit, you lose the game. And there is one limitation to assigning damage on portal cards. This number here in the middle is the number of the minimum level requirement for towers that can assign damage. So level 1 towers wouldn't be able to assign damage to this tile. Level 2 or level 3 towers would. So you need to upgrade your towers to be able to destroy this portal card. So this is the first one. The second one has a limitation of 3, and it's fast and it's deadly also. So it's pretty tricky you have to figure out an optimal way of damaging those tiles. Now, what's also making the difficulty level higher when it comes to playing this game, as if it wasn't, it is difficult, as if it wasn't difficult right now, is that a tower that attacks a portal card, so for example, if we had a portal card here, and this mage was here, this is a level 1 mage, let's find a level 2 at least to follow the rules of the game a bit better. Okay, we've got artillery, there you go. So if I had this artillery tile and it attacked this portal card, it would have to be flipped after the attack face down, and it wouldn't be returned to the owner, it would be returned to the stack. So you lose this tower after it attacks a portal. Every single time. You can't prevent it. So you would have to have quite a few towers to spare in order to destroy this one portal card. And additionally, heroes can move through portal cards, but they cannot stand on a portal card, so they cannot assign their own damage to a portal card, nor they can assign their damage tiles. So these tiles can be damaged only through towers, and those towers get destroyed after. So this is really, really tricky to do. Okay, so this is basically it. This is the whole game for 2 players. Now, what are the differences in the solo mode when it comes to playing the game? Now, the differences will be that when you put the building sites according to the scenario book, you will always place 3 colors, but each round you'll have 1 hero. I'll get to that in a moment, but each round you will have to select one of those 3 colors and it will be banned from construction during this round. So for example, if I had purple, green and yellow on this map right now and I selected yellow, I would be only able to build on green and purple, but in the next round I wouldn't be able to select yellow again. So I would have to select purple or green. So if effectively you are building only on 2 colors per round out of those 3, so every single round you have to adapt a bit. And the second thing that changes when you are playing solo is that you have 1 hero that you are playing, and the other heroes, up to 3, can be chosen to be on the hero bench. Now what that means is that those heroes can enter during any turn onto the map, perform a movement and basic attack, no skills, just a basic attack, and then they are benched, so they cannot be used in this map, in this scenario anymore. So those are like one-time help that you can employ to help yourself with fighting evil. And the third thing is, how do you level up towers? Same thing, but without the trading. So you just put the tower you want to upgrade back to the supply, you take another one and you place it in the incoming towers section for the next round, and that's it. You can play this game solo very easily, but it's not easy. Don't even think for a moment that it's easy to play it solo. Believe me, it's not. I will post in maybe a week or 2 a video of a solo playthrough. You will see how much difficulty this game can bring, but it's also a lot of fun, and it gives a lot of satisfaction once you figure out how to destroy those hordes and how to win each scenario. So I guess that's it. Thank you very much for watching. If you have any comments or any questions, put them in the comment section below the video. If you liked the explanation of the rules, hit the subscribe or the notification button, leave a like under the video as well, and I will see you soon in another one, maybe an unboxing video or maybe a how to play video with another explanation of another cool game that I have in my collection or I have played and liked enough to share it with the rest of the world. See you then, YouTubers. This was Lone Vic. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great evening.